Yeah, hey everybody, this is Ian from mindfulmarketplace.com, and today we're going to look at uh, a really cool way of selling products, programs, content, courses, coaching, memberships, and even accepting donations or micro support commitments from your audience using a new to me a platform called BuyMeACoffee. Now, I actually looked at these guys or this platform maybe, I don't know, 6 months or so ago. I'm recording this currently on the 29th of September and 2020. And you know what? I looked at it, and I guess I just got stuck on this part of it, and I thought, it's asking people for donations or micro commitments, or buy me a coffee, so to speak, using their vernacular, really isn't kind of professional enough to take a closer, or a deeper dive into what they do well and how that could serve either our platform or my client community. But over the last a month or so, I've gotten a couple emails from folks in my own community, and I spoke to someone actually by phone about a week and a half ago who had just really transcendently positive things to say about buying me a coffee. So I decided to take another look. And then, of course, as I am wont to do, I actually created my own page. And I have to tell you that I am incredibly impressed by this platform, and it enables you or us or me as a creator, as an author, as a teacher, to do far more than I initially believed by dint of its kind of above the fold, sort of what it leads with, which is this kind of buy me a coffee style micro commitment platform. Maybe that's actually how they started. I believe it is, in having looked a little bit more closely into their, the community conversation, that's happening behind the scenes. But I'm going to show you some of the things that you can do with Buy Me a Coffee that are analogous to things I'm doing on Podia, and other platforms, even like Kajabi, certainly WooCommerce, Shopify, even and beyond, right? So I think they're positioned most closely as an alternative to something like Patreon, but they have memberships. You have this now shop, which they call extras. You can charge for a blog post. You can send your subscribers, um, you know, uh, updates, all the things that you'd want in a really beautifully designed and really, it's a joy to use. And I'm going to show you. This is the default view, right? This is my home page, right? So I'm going to show you, and this is brand new, so there's nothing here, and that's kind of by design, no pun intended. I want to show you all the things that you can do with this from scratch, rather than showing you something that's already pre-populated with a whole bunch of products and posts and all that sort of stuff. So you're actually seeing the complete, almost the root level experience. So let's go into edit page. My name Ian, obviously, so that's at the top. What are you creating? Ian is, and this is where you put that sort of message. Ian is helping enlightened entrepreneurs tell stories that change the world. This is actually the tagline from our Mindful Marketplace community, so I just included that in my own personal profile as well. This here, I can embed a video. I could upload an image. Here, I just took an image from my my assets folder, design assets folder. I'm going to change that, obviously. And then here, about me, I just made a little, introduction. Hey, I'm Ian. Welcome to my page. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Underneath that, you have the ability to add, I don't know how many, but I've added 3 links. My, mindfulmarketplace.com, our community, my storefront on, or our storefront on Podia, which is partners.mindfulmarketplace.com, and that's where the vast majority of the interaction I have with my own audience takes place. And then I actually, as a test, added an affiliate link as well. This is my Podia storefront. I'll show you how that renders on the front page, which I don't love. That's one of the things that I take a little bit of a, I don't love, and I'll explain that in a second. And then here are some of the things that you can add in terms of, instead of coffee, which is the default vernacular, you can add buy me a beer, buy me a pizza, buy me a book. I thought that buy me a book was the most appropriate, but of course you can also change that to a little love, whatever it is that you want. These come with icons, right? So a visual representation of what it is. A little love isn't going to do that, right? So that's the deficit of creating your own little messaging there. You don't get a visual, or at least I don't think so, predicated on what you pick. All right, and this is the kind of the supporter amount that you're asking for. So if people want to support your art, your coaching, your blog, your whatever it is that you're offering, they can charge. And you can start at $1 and go up to $5. Let's put that at $3 for the time being, and then we'll change our color scheme to, I don't know, that. You can display your supporter count. So if I check this, it's going to say I got no supporters because I don't, because this is brand new. And then here's my Twitter link, and then here's my social sharing style. Let's save that and see what that looks like now. Okay, and I have 2 supporters, which is not really true. These are just test purchases that I made to kind of play with the platform. All right, so here you have that. All right, buy Ian a little love. Ian is helping enlightened entrepreneurs tell stories that change the world. Here's a picture of myself. Here's the membership, which is not really, I haven't added anything to it yet. So let's go out of that. And here is where it gets really interesting, or at least to me. This is where Buy Me a Coffee can really truly be an alternative to something like a digital storefront that you'd have to pay for, like Podia, like Teachable, like Gumroad, or anything in that spirit. Even something like Shopify, although I would argue Shopify does some other things in a more sophisticated way that Buy Me a Coffee isn't necessarily competing with at this point. But I'm going to go into the back end, and you're going to see some of the other elements to this that I think are really beautifully designed, beautifully done. And I'm going to do this over a course of several videos so this doesn't become really, really content heavy. But here you can look at stats, right? So you can see I've made no money. I have 2 supporters, which I really don't. They're just 2 versions of myself. Here is the source of, the analytic element of this, so you can see where your traffic is coming from. Again, this is just me. There's somebody from India who visited this page. I don't, know who that is because I'm not promoting this. I would imagine all these visits are my own. All right. But it's really beautiful. The whole user experience, if you're used to something that looks different than this, Gumroad is, beautifully designed. Podia is beautifully designed. Lots of these software as a service style digital storefront experiences are beautifully designed. This is more beautifully designed. Like the aesthetics, the user experience elements, the fonts, the minimalistic design. Just the way the visual presentation of all this, from my perspective, is just absolutely beautiful. All right, here's my my URL, buymeacoffee.com/Zenful. So that's where people would access my stuff. Here is the membership area. I don't know if I showed this to you yet or not, but this is where you're setting your price for your membership. So we'll say that's $200 a year because I don't feel like doing any math. Here's where you can add, an image for what your membership visually will look like. I'm going to do that in the next video. Here is the, a way that you can give away free memberships. You can toggle this on so your membership is actually the most prominent part of your page. Again, these are all, so rather than the Buy Me a Coffee piece, the membership piece will be prominently positioned as the thing that people see first. All right. The things I'm most interested in are the extras. I'm going to deactivate this so I can show you that from scratch. The posts, which allow you to write blog posts that you're either charging, you can either give away for free, or if you have memberships enabled, you can parcelate this so it's only available to folks who are paying supporters. And then there are other things here as well, but the most salient parts of this experience for this demonstration are the membership, the extras, and the posts. Now I'll say one other thing before I do this actually and show you how this is done. They've really created these beautiful templates that allow you to pick pre-existing, kind of design and product prompts, right? So, let's say this was a Zoom class, and it's they have it's pre-filled in already. Group yoga on June 1st. Here's the price. Here's the description. Here's the confirmation message, and then all you really need to do is change, obviously, what change the verbiage here, obviously, right, and change the links to be appropriate to your brand and business. But then you would change the image, the visual presentation, by adding an image, and then you can ask a question. As you can see here, you can ask a question on the kind of the purchase experience form. Let's see what else. If we go back to extras, you can start from scratch, or you can, if you're offering one-to-one consultations, here's, again, all this is all templatized. So let's see if I can find an image that I want to show you, just kind of, what this would look like. And of course, you can see the shit show that is my desktop. All right, here's a picture of my sister's cat. All right, we're just going to publish this with a picture of my sister's cat. All right, and let's see it in action. So now we've just taken that template, right? We've just taken that template. This is Slingshot, and we've created a product that you can purchase. Now, if you try to purchase it, obviously yourself as a test, it's going to tell you can't do that because you're logged into this account, which makes sense. If we go to the home page, you'll see that this is actually pinned to the top of your page, right? So now you have a product which is pinned to the top of your page. This almost starts to look like not a micro donation page. It starts to look like a product page with your membership, right, now being prominently displayed here because we selected that to be prominently displayed, right? So the Buy Me a Coffee thing is less obvious, which I appreciate because I think that is somewhat diminishing, where it kind of I think it cheeses up the experience a little bit, right? I'm not in a business to ask people to buy me a coffee. I'm in business to help impact lives in the most, in the most direct way I can, and to build a profitable company. So I think these are the things that you want to be, most prominently positioned when you're in a in a professional platform. All right, so now we're starting to look a little bit more like we're a business, right? Now, if you go to the extras page, we only have one extra, and again, extra. The analogous word would be shop or store or whatever. So they call these extras. You could just continue to add these so that you have an entire store of these, and you're actually going to see me, as I build this out a little bit in a more refined way, how good this can look. Now, the beauty of this experience, they have really great process flow for purchase. There is, the user experience is just really, really highly refined and is going to amp up your conversions by dint of the beautifully designed, elements that they've incorporated into the checkout and all that sort of stuff. There's also this great app that you can download that's free that allows you to keep track of what's going on your store. And I don't know that this is coming, but I did leave a comment on Twitter and then in their community where custom domain support is potentially coming down the road. It's something that they, sort of discussed on the community forum, having this resolved to, let's say, ianhollander.com rather than BuyMeACoffee/Ian right? And I think that is the missing element to this that would really make this a game changer for folks who want a really beautiful storefront with blog posts, with membership, with a just a very easy way of attracting an audience and getting paid for doing work that you love in the world, right? I don't love having anything resolve to somebody else's domain. I'm a big believer that you don't want to build your brand on somebody else's land, and that this does have a little bit of that feel to me if you can't actually, move it off of your own or move it off of their kind of brand onto your own URL, or at least make it appear that way by dint of the, domain masking or whatever that process is. In fairness, though, there are lots of other services that I've used that, I haven't moved off of their own. So our Pathright learning community is on a Pathright domain. We're using Circle for community building, community interaction right now in October of 2020 and beyond. That lives on a Circle, branded domain. So, Mighty Networks, again, is another example that I've done for myself and with clients that has lived on a Mighty Networks domain. So it's not really that big of a problem. It's just, a sticking point in my own head. And hopefully that is coming as a option as well, the ability to host a Buy Me a Coffee page on your own, branded URL. All right. There are a couple other things that I would like to see them change. For an example, I don't love the fact that these links that I created earlier, this is our Mindful Marketplace. This is our partners.mindful marketplace, which is really, the most active part of our community. And then there is this affiliate link. You'll remember I pointed these things out earlier. All of these have no reference, right? There's nothing that tells anyone who is looking at these links where they're going, right? Unless they look at the, unless a little bit more of a sophisticated web user. I don't like that. I think that people ought to know, where they're going, by dint of some sort of text-based, prompt, right? So I think that's something they ought to change. But in general, I really, really think this is just an amazing, it's just designed beautifully. It's very thoughtful, and I'm excited to use it. So if you are somebody who is thinking about, launching a Gumroad store or a Shopify store or a Kajabi memberships or storefront or, an email newsletter, this is free. Buy Me a Coffee charges nothing to set this up. They charge a 5% transaction fee on every purchase, but before anyone buys anything from you, or the only time they get paid is when you get paid, right? So, 5% transaction fees on a large volume of fees, or a large amount of revenue, would be a significant amount of money. But for most people starting off, I mean, Podia, we pay $79 a month. Gumroad charges a fee, and you can also, as as you move up the tiers, can also be quite expensive. You can go, well into the $100 plus a month just on the base fee, and then you're also paying a fee on top of that, right? So, if you're on a bootstrap budget and you're just looking to launch something and start, selling memberships, selling products, cultivating a community and attracting an audience, and you want to do it with no money out of your own pocket, I really can't think of a better platform than this. All right, so we're going to cover some more of these, kind of nuanced ways of tweaking and optimizing Buy Me a Coffee. But for right now, that's an introduction, and I'll do some more deeper dives in some future videos. Okie doke. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.